Hey guys, what's going on? Carter here. Well, it is rant video time, kind of. I don't know. This is about taxes, because it's tax season, and I hate tax season for a bunch of different reasons. So how are you guys holding up during taxes? I know some of you younger guys out there, it's probably not a big concern for you. And you know, depending on your situation, it could be a bigger deal or less of a big deal. But yeah, I'm gonna have to pay quite a bit of money coming up here soon. But more importantly, I'm not quite sure how much money I'm gonna have to pay. Could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000. And then of course there's the fear that it's some ungodly amount of money that I gotta pay. Now, the reason for that is mainly because of my wife. She is a hairstylist, and this year she started working booth rent. So that basically means she's self-employed. So she rents a space from somebody, and then all the money she makes is basically hers. And then she has to pay for her space, and then pay for all of her equipment and product and things like that. So that means that there's nothing being withheld from her taxes. She gets it all. So, you know, we've been trying to save some, like I think about 20% of everything she's pulling in or something like that. That was the idea, but, you know, as I'm looking at the numbers between what we've been saving and what her 1099, which is what you get when you don't have withholdings, says, it doesn't seem like we're near the 20% mark. And of course we'll be able to do some deductions and things like that. Not sure how much. And then also I've got a 1099 too from, you guessed it, YouTube. So those of you that are getting AdSense money, you know, you've agreed to put ads on your videos and you're, you know, pulling in a couple of bucks. You got to pay taxes on all that. That is untaxed income. So you'll be getting a 1099 and you have got to pay whatever your tax bracket you fall into. You have to pay that percentage on that amount of money. So hopefully you guys are aware of that and realize that, you know, you're going to be paying on that if you're getting any sort of YouTube monies. I believe you've got to break a certain amount for the whole year before you actually have to pay, something like that. So so yeah, I got to pay a few bucks on that. Not a ton, or at least I'm not totally sure right now, but that on top of my wife's thing. Plus, you know, I keep my taxes pretty lean. I don't do a lot of withholdings. Basically, my thought is I would rather keep that money and put it into a savings account where I'm gaining interest than let the government keep it with no interest. Because that's all you're doing. You're letting the government keep your money all year, and they're not giving you any interest on it. And then at the end of the year you say, this is how much money I've been giving you, give it back. And they give it back to you, if you do your taxes correctly. Otherwise, they'll just, if you don't say give it back to me, they'll keep it. So, you know, I would rather just have that money and use it as I would like to use it. So I don't ever set myself up for a big tax return. So I've got that, and then I've got all this money I gotta pay on top of it. It's crazy. So yeah, you guys ready for tax season? I hope so, because I feel a little unprepared as things are starting to trickle in and stuff like that. And it just, I don't know, this time of year it just reminds me, when you're younger, you take for granted how much money you're paying in taxes. It's not until you kind of get a little bit older you start to realize how many taxes you're paying. I mean, if you stop and think about it, any dollar I make, I pay taxes on. Any dollar I spend, I pay taxes on. And that goes across the board. Anytime I make any money, no matter how I did it, the government gets their cut. And whenever I buy anything, the government gets their cut. Things like the new car I bought. So it's a year old. So whoever bought it last year paid full sales tax on it. On a brand new car, they paid full sales tax. A year later, I buy it. I pay full sales tax on what I bought it for. If I sell it in 5 years, whoever buys it, they pay full sales tax. So just think, at the end of the life of this car, how many taxes, how much sales taxes would have been paid on this thing. because you got to remember, sales tax is not a per item tax. It's not a you pay taxes when you sell this item. It's you pay taxes when you sell anything. It's a per transaction tax. So anytime you transfer hands, you're supposed to pay taxes on the amount that's taking place. And that's, when you think about it, it's like, wow, really? Really? It's a little ridiculous. I mean, the amount of money, it's insane. And then also, property taxes. You can own a house and pay off that house, but still lose that house if you're not paying your property taxes. You buy the plot of land, you buy the house on that plot of land, but every year you still have to pay property taxes. And if you don't pay that, the government will take your house away. The house that you paid for, the land that you paid for. It's a little ridiculous. I mean, in my mind, if you pay for all that, it's yours. You know, you don't have to pay anything to occupy that space. I understand paying other taxes to upkeep roads and the electrical grid and everything else, but that land is supposed to be yours. Why are you paying taxes on it yearly just to be there? It's a little ridiculous. It really is. All right, guys, so that's the end of the rant. Obviously, this is stuff that's on my mind because of the time of year. I've got the Spyderco Citadel here. Cool knife. Spyderco Automatic, obviously, because it went like that. And the ProTech Doru pre-production prototype, Elishewitz design. Very cool knife. G10 button. Anyways, so yeah, it's been on my mind, so I figured I'd do a video on it, and also to remind you AdSense people out there that you are going to have to pay taxes on all of that AdSense money. You know, and I know most of you, it's probably a pretty small amount, same with me. You know, we're not talking big numbers here, but there's channels out there that, you know, I'm assuming that they're making a decent amount of money, and hopefully they're prepared to pay their whatever percent back, because all that money they've been getting has not all been theirs. Alright guys, talk to you later. Good luck. I'm out.